$124 trillion is transferring from one generation to the next right now. If we don't grow up around it and see that it's not just a billionaire issue, it's an us issue. Half of that money is in our hands and in our parents' hands. If we don't take action around these resources, our share of the $62 trillion, we're gonna lose it. And the baby boomers, maybe your parents, they're turning 80, and once they become incapacitated, once they can't make decisions, it's too late to be in the conversation. I'm Katz, and after graduating first in my law school class and working on tax transactions for Warren Buffett at Charlie Munger's law firm, I realized that the world of estate planning was broken, and I set out to fix it, and since then have trained thousands of lawyers who have served over 500,000 families, protecting over $25 billion of family wealth. And I'm gonna bring everything to you right here so you can learn the very same strategies that I've been teaching them and put them into place in your own life and in your own family and step into your role as a family wealth steward. Welcome. $124 trillion is transferring from one generation to the next right now. If we don't grow up around it and see that it's not just a billionaire issue, it's an us issue. Half of that money is in our hands and in our parents' hands. And it's time for us to step up so that we don't lose the resources that we have access to now to build the thriving future that we all want. That's what this podcast is about. If we don't take action around these resources, our share of the $62 trillion, we're gonna lose it. And the baby boomers, maybe your parents, they're turning 80 this year, and once they become incapacitated, once they can't make decisions, it's too late to be in the conversation. And the conversation could take some time to happen. And your growing up process could take some time to happen. And so these conversations, they have to start before it's too late, or we lose what's ours, to care costs, to court costs, to confusion, to chaos. Something happens, it's too late at that point, the resources are gone, and your family is probably losing right now somewhere between $10,000 and $100,000 a year, overpaying in taxes that you don't need to be paying, but you are just because you don't know. You probably don't even think that this impacts you because you think, I'm not rich. Or your parents might be saying to you, or you might be thinking about your parents, they're not rich. I'm not inheriting anything. They're not gonna leave me anything. Well, I inherited $50,000 from my father at the right time, and it changed my life. So whether you're inheriting $50,000, $500,000, $5 million, these are a lot of resources. And you might think that you're not rich because you don't have millions of dollars in the bank, but the reality is that your resources can grow, and they will grow over time. In fact, what I found is that most people with between $1 and $30 million don't think they're rich. It's money dysmorphia. And money dysmorphia is the distorted view that we have of our financial reality that causes us to sacrifice our non-renewable resources, time, energy, attention, relationships, and health, in service to money, thinking we have to get more money because we're not rich yet, when the reality is we could be taking care of what we already have right now and growing it. You may not be thinking about it because you think you're not rich. You think your parents are not rich, or maybe they are rich and they think, oh, you think they've got it taken care of. They've already got it handled, or their guy has it handled, or you're not gonna really be able to get into conversation with them because they don't wanna talk about it. But this is exactly how the wealth leaks out of the middle class, and we are the middle class, right? 1 to 30 million in wealth, which by the way is rich. So let's start with that big issue with when we think we're not rich, we don't take care of what we have as if we're rich. And then we're just losing it. Paying more in taxes than we need to be paying, getting the wrong kind of insurance, the wrong type of insurance, because we're just getting insurance sold to us instead of going out and buying what we actually need. Not having the right financial systems in place, worrying about how much we have, waking up in the middle of the night instead of having systems, rhythms, flows, systems, and structures to be looking at what we have, getting stuck in conflict, getting stuck in court, all because we don't think that we're rich. Even if we're inheriting $50,000, certainly $500,000, definitely $5 million, right? That's rich. I inherited $50,000 from my dad when I was 30. It was a life changer for me to get $50,000 from my dad to be able to invest in my business, change the game. Now, if he had left that to me in a way where I had to go through a court process to get it, it wouldn't have changed my life in a positive way. It would have hurt my life. It would have cost me time, energy, and attention that at that time when I had 2 little kids and a brand new business, I didn't have. And so if we don't take care of what we have, if we don't take it seriously, what we end up leaving is a huge burden, a huge mess, instead of giving this huge gift to the people that we love. And so when we take it seriously, when we see that we already are rich, then we're able to grow our family wealth from one generation to the next. And this is when the conversation has to start. It can't start later. It has to start now. I discovered this thing that I call money dysmorphia. And when I discovered it, that term didn't exist. Now, some folks have taken that term and talk about it as if it's something other than what it is. So here's what money dysmorphia is. It's a distortion we have of our financial reality that causes us to sacrifice our non-renewable resources. Individually, that's time, energy, attention, relationships, and health. Planetarily, it's our non-renewable resources planetarily. We sacrifice those resources in service to money. But money is infinitely renewable if we know how to use our non-renewable resources. And the way that I discovered this was, well, first of all, when I started my career as a lawyer, I'm making $165,000 a year, and I still felt broke. That was very confusing to me because I had only ever been a waitress before. How could I feel broke making $165,000 a year? But I found that that feeling continued through building $2 million businesses. I still felt broke. I still felt that I didn't have enough money. I still felt that I wasn't rich. I still felt constantly worried about money. And I decided I would walk away from everything that I had created because I might as well just give up. Wasn't good at business. I was making all sorts of mistakes because I wasn't taking care of what I had because I thought I wasn't rich enough. So I walked away from everything. And in the process of walking away from everything, I discovered no matter how much we have, we're never going to feel rich. We're always going to feel this underlying insecurity of not enough. One of the ways that money dysmorphia causes us to lose our resources is because we don't see what we have, right? And so many people would come in and meet with me for their estate planning when I was a one-to-one estate planning lawyer, and they'd never looked at what they had, and they were shocked, like, oh, I really actually have a lot. And as a result of that, you think, oh, I don't need estate planning. Well, if you don't need estate planning, what's going to happen is that when you become incapacitated, illness, accident, injury, something you don't expect is going to happen, your family has no idea what you have, where it is, or in the event of your death, they can't get into your phone. Now, what happens is your family is going to the court. And once you're in the court process, it's really bad. It is unnecessary expense. It takes a lot of time. There's likely going to be conflict in the family, and the assets just end up lost. And worse than that, I would say, is all of the assets that go to pay for care costs for people who wouldn't have even wanted it. So, for example, I know that for myself, I do not want to be kept in a nursing home, kept alive, not necessarily on a breathing machine, but being force-fed to be kept alive when I don't even have any cognitive awareness at all. Most people would probably say the same thing. They also don't want to be kept alive. But because they didn't write it down, document it, make plans for it ahead of time, all of their family resources are spent keeping them alive, force feeding them, and all of their resources going to the medical industrial complex that they never would have wanted to support. Assets are lost. There's $70 billion in state departments of unclaimed property across the US because somebody dies and nobody knows what they had, and those assets end up going to the state and not growing in the hands of their families. So this is just some of the ways that assets are lost from one generation to the next, and it can totally be avoided. I'm having this conversation with you so that you know that you can do something. You can take action. You don't have to bury your head in the sand. Or like my mom, she didn't know what to do when she had to invest her retirement account at school, for example. And so she asked one of the male teachers because she figured, well, he'll know what to do. I don't want you outsourcing anything to some guy because you think he's gonna know what to do when you need to know what to do. And listen, I did the same thing myself when I first was given a retirement account at my 6-figure attorney job. I was 28 years old. I didn't know what a 401k was. And they gave me this piece of paper and they said, okay, tell us how you'd like us to invest it. I looked at the paper. We didn't have Google back then. I saw a bunch of letters on the paper. I was too ashamed and embarrassed to tell anybody. I didn't know what this was. And so I literally closed my eyes, put my finger down on the paper, and circled that one and handed the paper back to them. So that's what I call eyes squeezed shut decision making. We don't want to do that. We want to make eyes wide open decisions. And that's why I call my ecosystem Eyes Wide Open Collective, is because we want to make decisions with our eyes wide open. I did not do this myself. And so what I want you to realize is that you have a huge opportunity here to start making eyes wide open decisions. Acknowledge what you don't know. It's totally okay. And start to get educated. The first thing that you can do is start to treat your personal affairs as if you had a family office. That seems like a big word, right? Family office, that's just for billionaires. Well, no, it can be for all of us. We can all treat our personal affairs as if we were the manager or the steward of our own family office. And it starts with just looking at what you have, understanding what do you have? What do you have in the bank? What do you have in retirement accounts? What do you have for insurance? How are you filing your taxes or not filing your taxes? This really just starts with an inventory of what you have, and then an inventory of what your parents have, and also looking beyond just the financial assets. So it's not just about what you have financially. It's also about what you can create. What talents do you have? What gifts do you have? What skills do you have? What can you offer to the community where you can give what you have and receive what you need? So starting to inventory that as well, and starting to see that what you have is not just the zeros and ones. Also, looking at your credit score. All of us should be looking at our credit score on probably a weekly, if not monthly basis. Not because we want to feel bad about ourselves, but so we can improve it. Why do you want to improve your credit score? So you can get credit. Credit is a resource for us to use. It's not something to be ashamed of using. It's something to use to be able to build something. It's the only reason to have a good credit score is to use credit. So that's part of your inventory, is what is your credit score? How can you improve your credit score? How can you use credit in a really wise way to be able to make the investments that you want to make for the future? So I want you to see this as a rite of passage into adulthood, right? We've lost our rites of passage, we've lost our initiations, but this specific experience of you stepping into your role as the one in your family is a rite of passage. It is an initiation that you can take yourself through, so that when you're connecting with your parents, or your adult kids, if you have adult kids, or when you have adult kids, you're coming from a place of true adulthood around our collective resources, your collective resources in your family. And what's going to happen as a result of that is you are going to feel more fulfilled than I imagine you've ever felt in your life. At least that's how it was for me. When I spent years making more money, achieving the next metric of success, hitting the next goal, the goalpost kept moving. And maybe you've heard that before, right? Or maybe you've had that experience yourself where, like, I hit the goal and then it moves. And it's like everything is the next thing, the next thing. Well, what I found for myself is that when I really stood up around myself as a steward of my family wealth, it was the most fulfilling thing that I'd ever done. I finally felt like I made it. When I could take care of my mom and make sure that she has a place to live for the rest of her life and not be worried about the burden of, oh my God, how am I gonna take care of my mom, kind of living in the back of my mind, and know that I can take care of my family if anything happens. Not because I have tons of money. At that time, I didn't have tons of money. What I had was clarity. What I had was knowing that I was a good steward of our collective resources. What I had was connection with my sister and our mom, so that we could treat all of our resources as family resources. It was the most fulfilling, transformational experience that I had, and I think it will be the same way for you as well. Whether you're feeling inspired, overwhelmed, or motivated, you're in the right place, because it means that this topic is touching you and you know that this is the right conversation for you to be in at this time in your life. And I'm bringing you this work to give you the solutions, to give you the tools, to take you behind the scenes into the conversations that maybe you otherwise wouldn't get to see, so that you can be in the right conversations, so that you can be taking the right actions, so that you can start to relax your nervous system around these topics that can be really anxiety producing or create avoidance or uncertainty or fear, or you don't know what to do. And at the end of the day, you're going to be able to relax and know you're never going to be taken advantage of. You're never going to be ripped off. You're never going to make bad decisions. And if you do make bad decisions, there'll be learning experiences that you'll be able to share with others, share with your parents. So I want you to like, follow, subscribe, and that way you're going to get notified of every episode that I bring to you. And most importantly, share this with somebody you love, because there's somebody that you love that needs to hear this as well. And if you share this with them, you can be in conversation with them about it and be having these really important and intimate conversations that you might not be having right now. So do that, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next episode of the Great Wealth Transfer Podcast.